see everybody. Good morning.
Morning.
Thanks for coming out on a still wintry morning out there. Kind of neat though. Stars, all that. Dark, cold. It's really good to see everybody. Anybody here for the first time? Any introductions? I'm looking at you, Hitch.
Good morning. I have Rostam Safari. He has a new nonprofit in town. He moved here a week ago. There we go.
Very comfortable.
I've got Rostam Safari here. He's got a nonprofit. It's called World Within. He's been in Helena for a week now, so I'll let him say the rest.
All right, very good.
Nice to meet you all. Hitch gave me my first job when I was 16, and been one of my best friends ever since. Super excited to be in Helena. Our foundation focuses on funding social enterprises, especially things like co-ops and things that build community wealth, as well as storytelling. So we do filmmaking, documentary on really great organizations to get other people excited and involved. So that's a little bit about us. So thanks for having me.
All right, Rostam. I don't know if you can see a beautiful red-headed woman there on the left-hand side of the screen, Mary Rutherford. Mary, he sounds like your kind of guy. Mary's with the Montana Community Foundation, so she works with a lot of nonprofits. Mary, how's it going? Anyhow.
Good morning, everyone. I'm coming home with a little bit of luck, so I decided not to show the love this morning. But it's good to see you and hear what I can. Boy, it's not the same thing being remote, that's for sure.
Well, we're trying to talk loud, and we're working on it. I guess we're still working on it. In fact, SMA architecture. Anybody familiar with SMA architecture? A lot of people are. They are going to make a donation to the Helena College Foundation. And the donation has to do with some audio hardware that ought to improve things. We might need a bigger owl or a second owl. Sandy Bauman, you're going to tell us a little bit about this, right?
I will try, yes. So very generous at SMA, and thanks to the Hometown Helena crew for doing a little research on how that might look. So as you can tell, it's much louder in here. We've added speakers, but it's not helping the folks online. And it is the owl. Apparently an owl is not made for a space like this, it's just much too big.
We continue to try to improve the quality of the sound especially for people that Zoom in. So bear with us, please, everybody on Zoom, Mary, and we'll try to talk loud this morning. Okay. Anyway, good to see you, Rostam. Thanks for being here. And Hitch and Ramon, we're both on the board of directors of the Montana Club when we were meeting, well, even before we were meeting there. How's it going there? How's the Montana Club doing? What's the latest? Ramon. Hitch.
It's going fine. I know we handed the keys over to the new owner. He's taken ownership of the building. We're going to have a meeting at some point to talk about the future of the Montana Club, probably file articles of dissolution and figure out what's next for the entity itself. The building that belongs to Ajik Pal now, and he might come here at some point and give a report on that.
Okay. Well, very good. Are you and him still in the thick of it? I mean, you're still working on the board?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Good to see you both. Dan the man.
Who does?
Well, I don't know about that. You know, those papers to disincorporate are really important to file, as Andy will testify with Gilman, Montana still being an incorporated city in Lewis and Clark County, 1 of 3. But food for thought, there's over 10,000 nonprofits in the great state of Montana. And I think 6,500 of them qualify as a 501c3, which means you can get a tax deduction for donating to them. So that might be seed for a thought to get the association to come in and tell us a little bit about that. But you would think in a society like this, we wouldn't need 10,000 nonprofits to help get things done. But they're out there and they do a great function. I know, because I couldn't think of what Helena would be like if there wasn't such an outfit as Rocky Mountain Development, helping out and doing things like that. So, just some thoughts.
Good thoughts. Thank you, Dennis. Let's see here. Commissioner.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good to see everyone. I just wanted to introduce someone today. Frank Cornwell is our Chief Financial Officer in Lewis and Clark County. I think we introduced him when he first came on board, but hasn't been back, so I'm trying to shame him into coming every week. So expect to see Frank here every week. And I want to introduce Sheriff Leo Dutton, county guy. Under Sheriff Brent Howard. Clerk of Court-elect, Lisa Callio. And I didn't know Jennifer McCrum was going to be here today. Jennifer, she is the Water Quality Protection District lead. What's your coordinator, director? I can't remember your title. But the reason that I saw you walk in, it's great. But the Water Quality Protection District will be a great presentation one of the mornings. So. With that, Merry Christmas, everyone. There's Santa right there. I'm trying to look like him in the middle area here. I wish I had a pitch of beard. I'm starting on it, but next year maybe for Christmas.
Give us some time.
Anyway, good morning and thank you.
Hey, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for the introduction. Frank, how's our fiscal health? Hey, give us the pads.
It's going really well. Basically, everything's looking really well. All right. So far, so good. We got good people like the sheriff and everyone else putting in the hard work that we need in order to be a really fiscally sound county, and everything's going really well. I'm just really curious as to where we're going to go this session. We just want to make sure that what the results with this legislature isn't going to impact the county too much, but just curious as to where we're going with things. Other than that, everything's looking really good.
Wow, very good. Well, that's a great report. Sheriff's not blowing through his budget.
Good morning. Most of you know me, I'm John Jackson, and I'm here with the United Methodist Church out of East Helena. Last weekend, as you know, we hosted a soup supper along with the Christmas stroll in East Helena. It was a free will offering at the soup supper, and because everybody came, I didn't have to eat cheesy potato soup for a week that my wife made. They hated. No, we through the free will offering, we're going to give over $820 to God's love. So we do that as a way, we used to charge so much a bowl, found out that doing free will offering, people are very, very generous. And so we had a great evening that evening, and like I said, over $800. Now this weekend, Saturday from 4 to 7 at our church from 4 to 7 will be a live nativity. So come on by, drive by, go through the parking lot, come take a look at the live nativity. And also in East Helena, some may have heard, some may not, they have a bunch of trucks, semis I guess, driving around throughout the city that evening. displaying Christmas lights. So come on down to East Helena and have a good evening and have a nice time. Now, don't forget, our live activity's over at 7, so you're going to have to hurry somewhere and get ESPN on so you can watch the Bobcats play. And we always root for our home state team. Grizzlies are now, they're done for the year. Yeah, but the Bobcats are still there, and we root for our home teams, and we're glad. Is Western still playing? Western lost. That's too bad. I haven't heard the final on them yet. But it's always nice that Montana teams continue to compete so well nationally. But anyway, have a great week. Hope to see some of you Saturday evening at our live activity.
And baby Jesus is going to be all right in the cold weather, Judd. You told us. Yeah. He told us about that last week, and it reminded me when I was in high school. I went to a big Catholic high school. There was a trophy case, and they put a nativity scene in the trophy case, and it was locked up and all that. But one morning, there was a note in the manger, and it said, "If you ever want to see baby Jesus alive again, put 30 pieces of silver in this manger." I don't think we ever saw baby Jesus alive again.
So Senator Dunwell, thanks for letting us know that the audio here is good. So future speakers, where John was, the audio was good. So Peter Strauss, Helena Farmers Market, and I'm joined by Andy Shirtliff, who's the chair of our Farmers Market Board this year. You guys have heard us through the year telling you we had a great year, and we did. 140% from last year in SNAP benefits given away, 133% in double SNAP benefits. We're anticipating that's going to be a state record, despite the fact that some of the farmers markets in the state are still going on. So, thank you all.
Best in the state.
Best in the state, second year in a row, and we're going for the three-peat. So, on behalf of the Helena Farmers Market Board of Directors, Arlene Thurston, who's a vendor, Brady Watkins, who's a 4th grade teacher and a vendor, Andy Shirtliff, myself, Wayne O'Brien, who needs no introduction, Dave Swenson, who does the popcorn, Dan Bird with Carroll College, and Tim Schumacher with Intrepid Credit Union. We are honored to be able to provide a $2,000 gift to Helena Food Share.
Thank you to the farmers market and all of you who go there. I say this all the time, we could not do the work we do without you. It just does, that's how we function, whether it's volunteering, donations, food donations. This goes so far, and we're so grateful to the farmers market and to the community in general. Thank you.
All right. Welcome back, man. Hey, Commissioner Shirley, since you're here, how's the city? What's going on there?
Thanks, Jim. We at the Helena Farmers Market, we had our annual dinner last night. You want me to do that? Okay, thank you. Sorry, Marianne doesn't well. Last night at the Helena Farmers Market, we had our annual dinner, and we typically go over the budget. We had a little bit extra money to invest back into the community. The Helena Farmers Market and other nonprofits in town, we were proud to support, because we wouldn't be able, like Tim said, we wouldn't be able to exist without them or you. The partnership that we have with Helena Farmers Market is solid, and it's something that we're incredibly proud of and we want to strengthen. Today, you might have seen in the newspaper that there was a lawsuit that was settled between the city of Helena and several businesses. It's just based on how commercial property is assessed. Some of these, I don't want to get too much into it, the lawsuit, the settlement, say all that needs to be said, but we all agreed 5-0 that we're going to settle, that it's the right thing to do to make sure that these businesses there was some undeveloped land that was assessed in a little bit more like a commercial property, and we decided to settle that. About 2 weekends ago, there was the annual Parade of Lights I don't know who ended up going to the Parade of Lights downtown in Helena. What a show. I want to thank the Business Improvement District. I want to thank 10 Mile Brewing, Point S Tires, and so many others that came out and helped. Red's dance class helped out. It was a conversation that was started about 2 months ago between myself and the BID and 10 Mile, and they ran with it. We had a banner here there as well. So thank you very much for supporting our businesses downtown and the Parade of Lights. But also too, I know Emily Fraser's here, and I'm excited to see what she wants to talk about for the trolley, the Christmas stroll, the deck the halls, our houses in there for the house Christmas decorations. And so, yeah, we won last year, and we're going for a second one. So that's it for us. Thank you so much, Jim.
You bet, Andy. So you got the Clark Griswold Award. And the water is improving, right, Andy? I think it tastes and smells better by the day. So we're getting, he's getting there. Well, Emily, good to see you. All right.
It's becoming a thing that I have to wear a hat to give an announcement. Helena Holiday Cruise starts tonight. And unlike last year, it's not yet sold out, which is a little sad for us, but great news for you. You can still get tickets to see the lights. We are also selling maps at Sea and Cruise. If you'd rather do a self-directed tour, just go through the drive-thru or hop in and say hello. We have Santa there every night that we have the cruise, so that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday next week. And on Saturdays, if you've got little ones, we'll also have face painting and readings of the Polar Express, which we finally realized we needed a copy of yesterday. And so it's a good time for kiddos. That starts at 3 p.m. and the cruises start at 6 p.m. We've got up to 2 vehicles, so up to 4 tours a night. So come join us. Lots of fun and a great fundraiser for the Helena Area Community Foundation that supports many of the hundreds of nonprofits in the Helena area. And yeah, the Shirtless Home is pretty great, so if you want to check that out too.
All right, very good. I know Loretta's going. Loretta and some of her friends. What night are you going, Loretta?
The 20th, I think.
20th, okay, very good. Sheriff.
I'll come up here real quick because I know the people in Zoom land really don't get to see us really well.
There you go.
Yeah. We're excited to see you. Sorry you couldn't make it. Yeah. We're going to keep an eye on you. All right, 2 things that I want to talk about. One is Heroes and Helpers. That's where Helena is a great giving community, and Heroes and Helpers are the fire department and law enforcement that go around and gather donations, and then we take that money and we select families who probably wouldn't have a Christmas. And we meet down at Target this Saturday, and they come in, they check in, and they get to go shop with either a law enforcement officer or a fireman and go in to Target and pick out clothing. The issue is, you think they're going to go head to the candy aisle, and they don't. They head in, they pick out a item for their sister or their brother, and they may go pick out a coat. So that lets you know the degree that they really appreciate it. Second thing that I want to bring before your attention is a ring-off for Salvation Army. This is from the Sheriff's Office versus the Fire Department. I know, everybody loves the firemen, but come on, we need help. So we're going to have 2 locations. The Sheriff's Office is going to be at Safeway and Albertsons. Safeway and Albertsons. Safeway and Albertsons. And we'll be down there ringing the bell for a great cause, for Salvation Army. But again, if you see another one, say, God bless you, thank you, but I'm going to donate to the Sheriff's Office. They need help.
Very good, very good. Why don't you give that mic to the purple Santa Claus back there? Santa's changed his stripes a little bit. Good morning, John.
remember, Sheriff Dunn knows who's been naughty or nice. Stay on his good side. Just a couple of quick things. One is between now and January 2nd, you're all invited to come up to Carroll College and walk the campus and enjoy the lights, the spirit of Christmas. The spirit of Christmas, and just it's your campus. Just come walk around, bring your families. It's just a lovely, lovely place. So an open invitation. The second thing is, this is an idea for a future discussion here at Hometown Helena. Dr. Lawrence Swan, who is our Director of Nursing, sent this memo to me yesterday, and I'll just give you a little bit of a teaser. In Montana, we have 20,000 nurses working. In the field, we have about 87% of them working in the field. What's interesting, a recent survey indicated that 26% of our active nurses in Montana are planning to retire in the next 5 years. 26%. And then if you add an estimated 6% growth needed in that field, that means that the nursing schools in Montana in the next 10 years are going to have to think about how to double their production. Double their production. So significant. It got my attention, and I'd be happy to bring Dr. Swan up here sometime.
Let's plan on that, John.
You bet. Merry Christmas.
We'll do it. We'll do it. And there's tours tonight, right?
Well, it was December 10th. We had students leading tours, but you are welcome to just come walk the campus anytime. Anybody in Helena. It's lovely.
Yes, it's beautiful, all lit up, and seasonal.
You bet. It's fun. The spirit of Christmas.
Where'd you get that hat? That's what we all want.
The hat is available in the Carroll College bookstore. So come on up. You can get one. Sheriff Dutton can get. In fact, I might run one past his office today.
That'd be nice. That's really cute. All right.
You know, when the sheriff was just talking about taking them kids out shopping, and them young kids, the first thing they do is pick something out for one of their siblings, and then for themselves. It makes you wonder who the real heroes are out there. Keep up the good work.
Yeah. Emily, you got something for us. Emily McVeigh, right? Come on up here, but use this one. She'll use this one.
All right. So earlier this year, I was here talking about us doing the interviews out in the communities where we were door knocking, and it was a little bit different system that we used to do the community health assessment. So we do that as part of the Healthy Together Steering Committee. So United Way, the Lewis and Clark Public Health, Rocky Mountain Development Council, several other groups that we do that with. And yesterday, we finally put the community health assessment public. It is on the Lewis and Clark Public Health website. It's a really long place to get to it, but if you go to the Lewis and Clark Public Health website, you can find it there. It is a really great document with a lot of really amazing data, which, you know, if you're really into data. You can find it on that website in the asset folder if you kind of Google around in there. It just got a lot of really good information about our community, the things that we're doing well, the things that we need to work on. And then the next steps from there are we will start having community meetings in late January, early February. Everybody in the community is invited to those meetings to talk about where we take those next steps to the community health improvement plan. We use that over the next 3 years to really develop 3 big goals that we work on. And so if you guys start thinking about that, if you can look at we call it the CHA, because we like to turn everything into words that, you know, the 3 letters we make. So we turn that community health assessment, or CHA, into the CHIP, and then we work on those goals over the next 3 years. So it's really important that people start looking at those things, start looking at the things that are the priority areas, so we can create the goals in January and February. Again, what we saw was mental health, housing, suicide prevention, and those kinds of things rising to the top. those have been the top things for the last several years. We keep working on them, we're making progress, but they continue to be the priority areas that people talk about. So if they need to be the priority areas again, we'll keep working on them. If we come up with something else, we'll do that. But it's important that the community voices what they think is most important. So we need your voices come the new year in those meetings.
Emily, are we going to have that homeless remembrance event?
Yeah, so another thing. The longest night is December 21st. That is a Saturday this year. We'll hold that memorial at Women's Park on the 21st. It'll start about 4:15 because the sun will start to go down about 4:30, and we'll have that memorial. We'll read the names and we'll do the regular type of program that we do. And then we'll have cookies and hot chocolate and network afterwards. But yes, the longest night on the longest night of the year, as usual. And then next month we'll do the point time survey on January 30th, and we'll do that count. So lots of things coming up. Yeah, it doesn't slow down, so we'll keep on going.
Well, you're in the middle of all of them. Thanks, Emily. That'll be really neat, that homeless remembrance event. It's very, very moving. Well, let's move along here. Peter Strauss. There you are. He's going to take point on this. People have mentioned the legislature a couple times, and Julie Darling's with us, Luke Muskevich, Marianne Dunwell. So we're going to hear from these folks a little bit. But anyway, Peter, you're the man.
Thank you, Jim. And we really should get somebody who's better at this than me. Absolutely. I completely forgot to mention the farmer's market treasurer, John Moore, who's not with us this week, but he is also on the board and was part of our decision regarding our charitable gifts. Regardless, we're going to hear from some of the local legislators. We touched base with all of them and asked them to join us and tell us a little bit about what's going on with the interim committee. So this is the committee work that's done in between sessions, where both parties can get together and really study individual issues and make determinations about how we should go forward. Since we have three, and we touch base with all of our local legislators, and this is a really busy time of year. I know a couple of them are actually flying home from conferences, and a couple of them are just actually getting some work done. Not that the folks who are joining us aren't working, but I'd like to thank Representative Julie Darling, Senator Marianne Dunwell, and Representative-elect Luke Muskevich, and I pronounced it right this time, for joining us. And I'm going to ask Representative Darling to join us and start us off with the interim work that you've been doing and maybe some prognostications, try saying that 3 times fast, about what's going to happen this year. All right, Representative.
As Peter said, my name is Julie Darling. I am a representative currently for House District 70, which is all of Broadwater County and 3 precincts on the eastern portion of Lewis and Clark County. I was recently re-elected to serve the county in the new district, House District 84, which is entirely located within Lewis and Clark County. It's the east portion of Lewis and Clark County into East Helena a little bit, and a big chunk of the North Valley. I have served 3 terms so far. Each of those terms I've served on state administration, transportation, and the agriculture committees. My favorite is the state administration. I was the chair of the state administration committee last session, and I will be the chair again this session. And I was lucky enough to be elected or appointed chair for the SABA interim committee. And you may wonder what the SABA interim committee does. And it deals with a lot of different things. We take care of elections, campaign finance, candidates, military affairs, which is the Montana National Guards, and our Veterans Affairs. We oversee the Secretary of State's office. We have purview over pensions, state government, the Capitol complex, IT, legislation, the legislative branch, procurement, and the state government. During this last interim, we met and we had various So during the previous session, we get assigned different bills that pass legislation, resolutions, et cetera, and then we take all of those and then we rank them and decide which ones we're going to take care of during the interim. And of those, all of those that we were assigned to, we focused greatly on Senate Joint Resolution number 4, which is a study of the PERS and TERS pension systems. Our pension system is Montana's largest liability, and so it's a huge liability, but we try to think of it as like a mortgage. It's kind of a variable rate mortgage. Some days, you know, your payments into the system are higher, and some years are lower. We've been really fortunate this last couple of years that we've had great returns on our pension systems, and that's due to, in part, by the folks that run the PERS and the TERS systems, and obviously the Montana Board of Investments. Mr. Villa does a great job making sure that our state government and our county government employees are taken care of, and we keep the costs low in those systems. And we also had House Bill 264, which is the Decennial Veterans Long-Term Care Needs Study. That was kind of a passion project for our interim committee, because we had not looked at what our veterans were needing. And since I think it was like 2006 was the last time we actually took a look at what our veterans were needing. And so with this bill, it sets up this needs study that goes out every 10 years after the federal census. And so we survey all the veterans. This last time, the kickoff was a little rocky. We had a couple parties that we didn't exactly request enough money, enough appropriation from the legislature to get this study funded properly. But I think we'll take care of that next time for sure. And we got this great study. It shows what our veterans are needing. And I came in here a couple times and talked about it, and one of the gentlemen from the school district actually filled out the study while he was here waiting to speak himself. And he's not 70-some years old. He's, I think he was in his 40s, but he's a veteran. And he said it made him think twice about what things that he was needing long-term, because he hadn't thought that far ahead. So with the results of that study, we'll be able to go back to the military affairs and go back to the current legislature and future legislatures to make sure we are properly funding and addressing the needs of our veterans. That is about all I have for what our interim committee did. I mean, we did a lot of things, but those were the two big studies, big projects that we took on this interim. And if you have any questions, I can, yes. Need a microphone.
Oh my gosh, and it's coming.
She's giving her steps in today.
Where am I going?
Right here.
Hey, Julie. So my understanding is the governor's wanting to put $300 million, I think, into the pension system. Could you talk, let's make my numbers right, could you talk a little bit about your take on that and whether if you think that's necessary, why that's necessary?
I think, yes, so the governor is considering doing a $300 million into this fund that is going to be set aside and not a part of funding other issues with our government. And what that will do, and we're still trying to work out the details of that, but what we're hoping to do is set up parameters for that money to where it's invested kind of like the TSEP funds, like the coal trust funds, where it is invested and the money that comes from those investments will trigger, we're going to set up triggers that should the pension system fall below or it needs additional funding, or if the results from our investments, if we have a bad investment year, that those funds will go in and surplus so that we don't have to take additional funds from government, the general fund budgets. So it's a great opportunity with the surplus to make sure we keep our state and keep the local governments funding the pension system. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. That was great. I'm curious just on how the pension system is invested. In terms of, is there a percentage of the total pension system that's geared towards funding projects or companies within Montana's ecosystem? My background is in the investment world, and I see a lot of capital that people think, oh, well, the profits of it goes towards these causes, but oftentimes the principal base has a much larger impact, and oftentimes they're invested in things that are, in different geographies. I'm just curious, is there any parameters or guidelines on keeping some of that capital in companies and projects within the state?
I would have to speak with Mr. Villa and get more information on that, because I think generally the investments that the pension systems are invested in they're generally safer funds. We do have other projects that do invest in Montana projects. There's some housing programs through the Department of Commerce that they specifically address those issues. Anyone else?
We can also have a session of general questions after we get through all three legislators.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Sure, and just real quick, we got an email last week. As legislators, we get unlimited bill drafts up until December 5th, and then after December 5th, we're limited as to how many we can put in. And as of the deadline on December 5th, a total of 4,132 bill draft requests had been submitted before the December 5 p.m. deadline. 750 more than was requested in the previous session. So there's a lot of bill drafts out there, and if you have great ideas, contact your local legislator, because they may have an open bill draft just ready and waiting for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Darling. And what she's talking about there is that often legislators will request a generally revised title for a bill draft. So there are opportunities to make changes to the law, even though they've passed the December 5th deadline. I can't thank Senator Dunwell enough for joining us. She's on a family mission right now down in Florida, and she's joining us by Zoom. So, Senator Dunwell, tell me you're still here.
Hello.
There we go.
And everyone, I love all the bright lights. I love the Christmas tree in the room, and Emily's head has blinking lights on it, and John's back having Santa. That's so very. You see what shirt with the ho very person on it in this spirit. Yes, I am actually dining in Florida. Don't hate me. It's literally, it's in the 40s right now. It's pretty easy up to 60s today, though. It's just kind of weird weather all over the country. But anyway, thanks for carving out time to listen to us legislators. I actually would love to say that, you've heard of the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's what sort of was like traveling yesterday here. I'm glad to join you this morning. First, before I begin, Mary Sparrow texted me and she did this. There's something going So what this bill would be is that the citation officer can put the citation on his windshield, just like any parking violation. And that makes crazy, put this on, that we never have that ability to do it. Okay, so, let me get to the upcoming sessions. So I'll be serving you on 4 different committees sessions. Taxation, and again, I'll be vice chair of local government, and I'll be vice chair of transportation, and also serve on legislative administration. My personal goals this session are 3 things. Affordable housing, get people housed affordably. Lower homeowners' property taxes, and then Medicaid expansion. And all those things really put on candidates first. I have actually 4 property tax bills that I'm carrying. And Pete, interrupt me if I'm going too long. I know Lou has to get to it. So
I'm going to give you 2 more minutes, Senator.
exactly what those property tax bills are. And then I have a few other constituency bills. So again, after Lou speaks, Representative Alexis speaks, I welcome any questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you for your time. I think we'll hold questions for Senator Dunwell to hear from Representative-elect Luke Vuskevich. Luke?
Thank you very much, Peter. Good morning, everybody. Thrilled to be here. Appreciate this opportunity. I had somebody come up to me the other day and say, I bet you're really thankful for this break between the election and the start of the legislative session. And I just had to chuckle because it sure doesn't seem like much of a break. I will stress the representative-elect, unlike Representative Darling and Senator Dunwell. I have not taken the oath yet. I'm not in the legislature, so I don't serve on any interim committees. But I do have a few things to say, and I'll share with you. I have the good fortune of being assigned to the Appropriations Committee, specifically Section A, which is the General Government section. So I'm really thankful for that opportunity. As many of you know, appropriations is kind of all-consuming. So that is, if you receive that assignment, that is where your focus is. I was also put on the Ethics Committee, which you would think would be around the clock, 5 days a week committee. But I'm told that, in fact, it sees very few hearings and it is an ad hoc committee in that sense. So I think my take on the interim was obviously different. I will say that I've been very thankful for and surprised by how much the legislature meets during the interim. But I think for myself, and I think for many of you who are interested in the process, it's a great opportunity to both learn and also get involved, and that's how I'm taking it. So the interim budget committees, there's one for every section. So there's 6 of them, and they all will have meetings at the Capitol next Monday and Tuesday. So looking forward to attending those, and I'm really focused on learning all I can so that I can be as productive as I can on day 1 of the session. As you know from the last couple of times that I've been up here, one of my priorities, my number 1 priority is really public education, in making sure that our public schools and our post-secondary public institutions have the resources they need. So in that sense, I attended the Education Interim Committee and Education Interim Budget Committee meetings as they've met in the past interim. And so I'm happy to see the governor's budget include significant investment in public education and just working to understand the proposals that are coming forth in the best way to deploy those funds. Frankly, I don't think it's enough, especially when you see the ground that public schools have lost in keeping up with inflation. But it's nonetheless an opportunity to get some really needed resources for our public schools, and I'll be working hard am working hard currently and will continue once I'm a legislator to make sure that happens. Prognostications, I probably shouldn't make any, but who knows? I'll give it a go. As many of you know, the partisan divide in both houses of the legislature is more equal than it's been in 30 years. So mathematically, that ought to suggest that our ability, both major parties, to work together to get stuff done that's important to you should increase. Now, maybe I'm optimistic, I'm probably naive, but I'm going into the session with that outlook, and we'll work hard to do that. I think, as has been mentioned, property tax relief, that is the number one thing that you hear from people when you're knocking on doors, and you've heard that throughout the election session or season. I'm confident that will happen. Of course, there are differences in exactly how to provide that relief, and that will be a big part of the session. But I think when you have a political consensus like that, the property tax has just gone up, especially for residential homeowners, that much, then I think both parties are going to respond to that. Senator Dunwell mentioned Medicaid. That is another very significant topic that I think is going to consume a lot of oxygen in the legislature, as it should. It's critically important. Of course, support Medicaid expansion. So, I think I will remain focused on public education. I do have an opportunity, I think, to get into the session and be effective in that space from day one. Other than that, I'm just looking forward to learning as much as I can, building relationships with my fellow legislators, and learning all I can from them, and keeping in touch with all of you and representing you. The one last thing I will say, and I think all of you are politically savvy and experienced enough to know this, please don't wait for the amazing Montana Free Press article halfway through the session that mentions the topic or a bill that you care about to engage with your legislators and reach out. The time is now. The time was probably 6 months ago, but now is better than once the session starts, because my understanding is that it's just so fast-paced, things happen so quickly, that while there is a lot of constituent engagement, now is really the time to make your case and help focus legislators on what the priorities should be. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I appreciate it, and certainly stand for questions during the Q&A period if anybody has any. Thank you.
So, any questions for Senator Dunwell, particularly Representative Muskevich or Representative Darling? And Dan, I'm going to remind you that we heard from Zoom folks that the John Jackson location is the right location.
Mary Ann, say hello to Mickey and Minnie for us. And one of my questions was, I understand there's been 27 requests for bills affecting the judicial and the Supreme Court, and I think that's a pretty good attack on a different branch of government. If you could talk about that for a minute, it'd be great.
I did hear part of what Dan said, something about a question for Senator Dunwell, and about the 27th. To me, they're, it's pretty direct, all of you. There's a cash the judiciary bill. I have been appointed to the interim select committee on judiciary reform and oversight. Early on in the interim, I immediately responded to the Senate President word that I didn't find the appointment because I did not believe in the mission statement that was out there about this committee. To me, it's really chipped away at the separation of powers and our independent judiciary. They sure did follow their mission. So I myself and a couple other folks who had declined the appointment were cracked on the goals, and actually embarrassed every time by calling our names, and the chair takes pleasure in saying unexcused. But anyway, I'm not going to go there. To me, the judiciary has already inherent, well-tested checks and balances on itself. The legislature has enough to do without this distraction. Yes, there are 27 bills, and just to give you a logistical idea of how the destruction is happening already. First of all, the bill drafter I put in, I put in 4 bills to right the ship of the sinking ship on the backs of residential homeowners. You all got your recent tax bill.
Senator Dunwell, I have to interrupt you. You're going off into property taxes. The question was on the judiciary.
4 bills, 2 of which I put in to be drafted, and because I'm trying to become a holdover under. You can't put it in until like November until you're elected. You're going to have it on, but I didn't have one because I did not have it. Anyway, my point is, even though those were sitting waiting to be drafted, the deputy chief legal attorney, Jerry Cole, who was assigned to drafting those bills, he is a tax guru along with the other tax policy analysts at Legislative Services and more. He was tied up as a result of assigned to the select committee on drafting the new judiciary. And that was his time spent. He didn't have time to do the other things. So that's an example of how this judiciary witch hunt is a distraction.
Senator Dunwell, I need to say thank you very much. We appreciate that. I'm going to give the opportunity to others. That's quite all right. You answered the question, absolutely, regarding your perspective. Representative Darling.
Thank you, Peter. So the beauty of a people's legislature is there may be 27 bills coming out of that select interim committee. It does not give those 27 bills a free pass to go through all of the committee hearings without discussion, without public input, and not all of them are going to make it to the governor's desk. Those bills will they're going to be vetted, they're going to have hearings, they're going to go through the Senate, they're going to go through the House, and then they have to get to the governor's desk. And those bills are going to be changed, those bills are going to be amended, and it doesn't necessarily mean just because 27 came out that all 27 are going to pass. And I know that a lot of people feel that these bills are personally attacking the Supreme Court, the judicial system, but they're going to get their chance to be heard by the public and have public input. And that's, again, the beauty of this system. So if you don't like those bills, go to the hearings. When we're sitting in committee meetings, we love it when the public comes and gives us their input, because that helps us to determine if this bill is good, if it needs to be amended, if it needs to die in the committee, or what have you. If it'll get its chance, it does not have a free pass to go to the governor's desk without any other considerations.
Other questions? Two minutes total left, guys. 2 minutes total.
Quick question on taxes. A bunch of people mentioned property tax reform, but on the other hand, the governor said he's going to cut income taxes. It seems like you've got a problem if you're giving away money and you're trying to cut property taxes. How's that going to work out?
Representative Darling, do you want to take first shot at this?
I can sure try. Again, there are going to be so many property tax bill proposals that come to the taxation committees, and the cream of the crop hopefully are going to rise to the top. I would love to see the property tax system rototilled. It's old, it's antiquated, it needs addressing. It's great to have these rebates to help our property tax owners. I mean, I own property. These increases affect me as well. They affect my grandmother and my mother. Again, we'll have to wait and see. If you have an opinion, please show up at the committee. Please go and testify in support or opposition of the bill, because the people's voice, it really does matter.
I'll add to that. I don't know who said it, but I can tell you, as somebody who participates in the legislative process a little bit, 90% of life is just showing up. If you're not there, your voice is not there. Someone done well? You've got 30 seconds if you want to address property taxes again.
I couldn't hear what's going on, so we feel like we're in the Luke, if that's okay. Luke, if that's okay, put you on the hot spot. Put you on the hot spot.
Luke, you now have 20 seconds.
I'll see you all next week.
I think it's a great question. I mean, fortunately, we have a budget surplus, so we're in an opportunity to cut taxes without cutting investments in the public services that are so important to us. So that is a good place to be when we're talking about taxes, or cutting taxes. I think there's bipartisan support on reducing property taxes. My concern with that particular income tax proposal is that that is going to benefit high-income earners more than it is, middle class and certainly our lower class, lower socioeconomic citizens. So that is my concern going into it, and I know others share that concern. But as Representative Darling said, we're just getting started, and the public will please show up and participate in this process. And I'm confident we can come up with a solution that disappoints everyone equally.
That's great. Thank you so much. So, Jim, if it's okay with you, I'll wrap this up.
Let's talk about next week for just a second, Peter. We're going to have a panel on Medicaid expansion. And hopefully, Representative Cafaro will be feeling better, and she'll be able to be here along with people from Benefits and St. Peter's and Peer Review. So we'll dive into that. And Peter, I should also say we will not meet on December 26th or January 2nd. So enjoy the holidays, and we'll see you next week.
So I'm going to wrap this up real fast with a quote from Winston Churchill. You've heard me say this before. Democracy is the world's worst form of government until you compare it to all the others. So, guys, thanks so much.